This incident took place nearly 100 years ago, on January 30th, 1925, in Kentucky, USA. A cave explorer named Floyd Collins entered a cave to explore it. The cave's passage was extremely narrow, so tight that a person could only enter by crawling. The darkness inside was overwhelming, so Floyd carried a lantern as he advanced. Navigating this cave was not for the faint-hearted, as the passage became increasingly narrow, making entry almost impossible. Most people who ventured inside would turn back upon reaching a certain point, which was why it was called the turnaround point. To proceed further, one had to pass through a 9-inch squeeze hole. Determined to reach the farthest end of the cave, Floyd entered the hole and struggled forward, crawling through the tight passage. As he advanced, the cave widened, and he reached a crystal chamber. This was the very room Floyd had been searching for. Finding it filled him with immense joy, because this chamber was supposed to make him rich. Floyd then decided to exit the cave, retracing his path through the narrow passage. But suddenly, his lantern broke, plunging the cave into complete darkness. Trapped 55 feet below the ground, Floyd remained stuck in a narrow passage. Yet, he did not panic. He had faced dark caves before. He carefully pushed his body forward, using his feet when, suddenly, a loose rock fell onto his leg, trapping him. Floyd desperately tried to free his leg from the rock's grip. He struggled hard, but the rock fit so tightly within the narrow hole that all his attempts to escape failed. He began shouting for help, but being so deep underground, no one could hear his cries. Water was trickling down the cave walls and flowing beneath him, making the situation even worse. What happened next to Floyd Collins will leave you in shock. During the 1920s, cave hunting had become somewhat of a trend in the United States. Farmers would dig their fields, hoping to discover underground caves. If a tunnel was found on someone's land, they had struck gold. Such sites could be turned into tourist attractions. The owner could charge visitors to explore the cave, and the more natural and beautiful it was, the more money people were willing to pay. This business was booming, and young Floyd Collins also dreamed of owning a cave that could provide him with a steady income and improve his family's financial condition. Together with his brother, he searched for tunnels on their land, digging extensively. Luck was on their side. They found a cave. Floyd began inviting people to explore it, but there was a problem. The cave was miles away from the main road, making it difficult to attract visitors. To solve this, Floyd came up with an idea. Why not partner with someone who owned a cave near the main road? He approached a cave owner, proposing to manage and maintain his cave. In return, he would receive a small share of the profits. The owner liked Floyd's idea, as it ensured that visitors could be guided properly. Floyd and the owner both knew that inside the cave there was a turnaround room, beyond which no one dared to go. At that time, people were particularly fascinated by crystal caves, willing to pay extra to see them. Crystal caves, formed from limestone, took thousands of years to develop, making them rare and valuable. One day, Floyd set out to explore a tunnel, unaware that he was about to face the most dangerous battle of his life. As I mentioned earlier, while returning, his leg got trapped under a rock in the dark, and he shouted for help. Floyd remained trapped for 24 hours before someone discovered his predicament. The cave owner, along with his son, visited the cave the next day and found Floyd's coat and hat near the entrance. Realizing that Floyd was still inside, the owner ventured in and called out his name. At first, there was no response, but when he reached the turnaround room and called again, a faint, pain-stricken voice echoed back. Floyd was begging for help. The cave owner immediately informed Floyd's family. His brother, Homer, rushed to save him. Navigating through the tight passage took Homer several hours. When he finally reached Floyd, he handed him a sandwich and coffee, then assessed the situation to figure out how to free him. Homer devised a plan to widen the cave entrance, making it possible to pull Floyd out. He returned with chisels and a hammer, determined to chip away the cave walls. However, the more he tried to widen the passage, the riskier the situation became. The fear was that the cave might collapse entirely, burying Floyd alive. The plan failed. By now, Floyd had been trapped for 46 hours. The cave's proximity to the highway attracted a growing crowd. People wanted to help, but upon seeing the terrifyingly tight squeeze hole, they turned back. After 71 hours, no one but Floyd's brother had dared to enter. That was until a daring reporter, eager to interview Floyd, crawled through the treacherous passage. Enduring sharp rocks and suffocating conditions, he reached Floyd and documented his situation. The story exploded in the media, becoming an international sensation. Thousands of people gathered near the cave, eager to witness the rescue efforts. By now, Floyd had been trapped for 80 hours. Rescuers devised a plan to pull him out using a rope. They tied it around his body and attempted to hoist him up. However, while the rope pulled him upwards, the rock refused to release his leg. Floyd screamed in agony and begged them to stop. He feared his body might tear apart. This plan, too, failed. 100 hours passed. The crowd above had swelled to 10,000 people, resembling a festival. To keep Floyd warm, rescuers installed a light bulb inside the cave. But time was running out, and no solution seemed to work. After 115 hours, Floyd's condition worsened. A professional rescue team arrived, only to find that the massive crowd's weight was causing the cave to collapse. A rescuer ventured inside, but as he approached Floyd, small rocks started falling. Floyd realized that escape was now impossible. The cave could collapse at any moment. For days, Floyd had been surviving by drinking water dripping from the cave walls. The rescuer sensed that Floyd was trying to pull him into the trap as well, so he quickly exited. Moments later, the cave passage collapsed, sealing Floyd inside. Until then, food had been sent to Floyd through the squeeze hole, but now all contact with him was lost. A final plan was made: dig a vertical shaft from above to reach him. However, digging was risky. Heavy machinery could trigger a total collapse. Instead, they chose to dig by hand, estimating it would take 30 hours. But could Floyd survive that long? The light bulb keeping Floyd warm was still working. However, the manual excavation took longer than expected. After 220 hours, the tunnel was still incomplete, and Floyd, starving, continued his struggle for survival. 15 days passed. Then, the worst happened. The light bulb went out. Now, they had no way of knowing whether Floyd was still alive. Finally, on the 18th day, the excavation was completed. Homer descended to rescue his brother. The rock that had trapped Floyd's leg weighed only 27 kilograms. It wasn't even a real rock, just hardened clay. Yet the passage was so tight that Floyd had been unable to break it or move it. It seemed as if the rock had been waiting there for centuries, destined to trap him. Friends, would you like to see more survival stories like this? Floyd Collins' story is a haunting reminder of the dangers of cave exploration and the tragic consequences of inadequate rescue operations. Nearly a century later, many of the same mistakes continue to be made in cave rescues and survival situations. Understanding these failures is crucial to preventing similar tragedies in the future. One of Floyd's biggest mistakes was venturing into the cave without sufficient backup lighting and safety gear. Modern cave explorers should always carry multiple light sources, such as headlamps with extra batteries, emergency beacons, and communication devices to call for help when needed. Floyd explored the cave alone, with no one immediately aware of his location. Today, solo exploration is still a dangerous practice. Cavers should always inform someone of their exact route, carry GPS tracking devices where possible, and never enter unexplored areas alone. The rescue attempts for Floyd Collins were chaotic, slow, and poorly coordinated. The delay in extracting him significantly reduced his chances of survival. Modern rescue teams now rely on specialized cave rescue units, rapid response planning, and improved technology such as 3D mapping and fiber optic communication to assess situations and execute efficient extractions. The weight of thousands of spectators above Floyd's cave worsened the instability of the tunnel, ultimately contributing to its collapse. Even today, improper excavation methods and the presence of large crowds at accident sites increase the risk of further collapses. Controlled environments, professional geological assessments, and limited on-site personnel should be standard practice in any underground rescue. The failed attempt to pull Floyd out by force only worsened his pain and risked serious injury. Rescue operations must prioritize careful assessment over hasty actions. Modern protocols emphasize patience, calculated extraction methods, and ensuring that any movement of trapped individuals is medically supervised to avoid worsening their condition. The attempt to manually dig a rescue tunnel took far longer than anticipated, costing Floyd precious time. Today, drilling technology, robotic excavation, and remote-controlled equipment can significantly speed up rescue efforts while reducing risks. However, the challenge remains in ensuring that such technology is widely available and deployed quickly. How can we prevent future tragedies? While cave exploration will always carry inherent risks, these lessons should serve as a guideline for safer practices. Training and preparation. Aspiring explorers should undergo proper training in cave rescue techniques, risk assessment, and emergency response. Advanced equipment. Carrying modern technology like satellite communication devices, thermal cameras, and lightweight extraction tools can increase survival odds. Professional and coordinated rescues. Governments and emergency services must invest in cave rescue units equipped with modern tools, trained personnel, and clear protocols to avoid unnecessary delays. Public awareness. The fascination with survival stories shouldn't lead to reckless cave exploration. Education on cave safety should be promoted in adventure tourism and exploration communities. Floyd Collins' tragic fate was avoidable, and although cave rescue techniques have improved drastically since 1925, similar mistakes continue to cost lives. His story should not only be a tale of survival gone wrong, but also a call to action for better safety measures, technology, and rescue preparedness in extreme environments.